What is up YouTube, it's Kingfisher745, and in this video we are going to cover Spider-Man Noir in PvP. So I apologize for the delay, but we have some really epic battles that I think are going to make up for it. Before we begin though, thank you Matt Sketches for this amazing graphic. And now on to the fights. First of all, we're using Amazing Spidey with Spider-Man Noir. And that's because Amazing Spider-Man will benefit from flanked. Plus, of course, they both build on each other's webbed. Also, for those of you who don't know or may not have remembered, the Amazing Spider-Man costume has the Web Slinger passive. This says Spider-Man gains a chance for an extra turn after performing a follow-up or counterattack. So if everything goes right, he should definitely be getting some extra turns. Now, since they had a Protect agent, we placed flanked on him. And now we're going to go ahead and try to hit him, plus get a follow-up, which could potentially trigger an extra turn. Luckily, he doesn't appear to have Watchful Eye, so we're going to try to hit him with a web swing. At first we were going to go for damage, but instead we were trying for that stun. And unfortunately, we missed both hits. But hey, Spidey Noir followed up and we got a Cosmic Cardinal proc, which causes another beat it. Oh, and remember that web swinger passive? Well, it came through. So this time we went for damage, and our follow-up attack leaves him just short of being knocked out. A Cosmic Cardinal follow-up doesn't do it, but Beat It does. And as you may have guessed, I wanted to sing that song pretty badly. In fact, every time I see him do that move, it comes into my head. Maybe next time. But for now, we're going to go ahead and use the Dragon's Foot on Pestilence Beast. And that's because our thought process here was we'll take him out, then we can remove debuffs. Plus, there's no reason to hurt Enchantress just a little bit for her to go ahead and heal it back. You know what they say, don't injure what you can't kill. But I guess we should add, unless it's Pestilence Beast. Now unfortunately, Spider-Man Noir had to skip his turn, and that's going to make a big difference. He would have been able to place flanked and build webbing on Pestilence Beast if only he wasn't stunned. But at least our Spider Sense does dodge his attack, and then we counter, plus gain an extra turn. So with that we'll use a web slingshot, and that's going to knock out the horseman. So on my agent's turn we'll use the light fantastic, even though Enchantress is going next, and she's going to build up those debuffs again. I still think it's worth doing. It gives us a bit of a reprieve. But yes, we do have to wait through her very long turn. And she still has 33,000 health remaining. That's definitely quite a bit. But I'm hoping we can knock her out before she gets another incredibly long turn. Well, we're going to begin making her pay by using our level 1 Gum Up the Works, and that will place flanked on her. We also proc Cosmic Cardinal, and then a pretty massive Beat It. So even though she had 33k, she's definitely going down, I would say right now. What we'll do with our Amazing Spider-Man is use our level 9, and that way we don't do too much damage if we hit our own teammate. That hits though, and we get a follow-up web shot, which ends the match. So not bad, and definitely an impressive win over a very tough team. Now next up, we're using Union Jack and Spider-Man Noir. And I'll go ahead and spoil the next team up as well. It's going to be with Rocket Raccoon. These are two heroes that I mentioned way back when we first saw him, and I just knew they were going to be good with him. But just wait until you see what can happen. It really is sick. We're even facing a combo breaker team, so we went ahead and put flanked on Iron Fist first, and that way we can take him out. Next up, the enemy agent does have Watchful Eye, and we decided to go ahead and just not use V for Victory, at least not yet. What we will do is use our over the top on Iron Fist, and because of flanked we will get a follow-up attack. And now Union Jack will preemptively counter defensive actions, which I think may come in handy. And once again, just beat it. Spidey Noir told him, don't you ever come around here. Don't want to see their face, they better disappear. The fire's in his eyes and his words are really clear, so beat it. Just beat it. Anyways, this time we did place the Relentless Rapier on our agent, and so things are going to get really ugly for the enemies. Oh, and one other thing that I do want to mention. His level 9 is a serious knockout move. He can actually one-shot an opponent. Although I may not show it in this video, we will take a look at it later down the line. I've seen him do close to 30k with that level 9, even at level 10 or so. Oh, but here goes the craziness. They can't stop till they get enough. And at this point, we will use V for Victory on Null. Then we're going to hit him with our Trench Warfare. And we'll get a follow-up Service Revolver. Then I'm sure, no matter what, someone was going to finish him. Now, if you thought that was insane, I've actually seen worse. And one of my favorite loops revolves around Rocket Raccoon. Now, this opponent's health and team really didn't impress me, so I was going to forfeit and look for another match. But I decided to go ahead and play it out. Rocket's going to begin, and I put the Calamitous AISO on his level 6, so it's now catastrophic. Then after that, we're going to reload. The enemies now have Pyrophoric, and they're perfectly set up for Rocket's level 1 follow-ups. So this is actually the turn order that I was hoping for. That's part of the reason why I decided to keep it going. Then on my agent's turn, even though their agent's up next, I went ahead and used the Neurotrope. Then after that, I'm going to use the Rapier on the enemy agent. That would have been so nice if it knocked him out. But he managed to dodge. Fortunately, he only uses the custom only for killing on his turn. So I will definitely take that. Then with Spider-Man Noir, I'm going to use our level 1 to place flanked on Iron Fist. After that, just sit back and enjoy the ride. Even with Combo Breaker, we're still going to engage in quite a loop. And this is why I think bringing in a counterattack AoE weapon or follow-up weapon would also be a great choice. So maybe I'll bring in the Trigger Man or the Deathly Freeze Ray even. Once his team gets on a roll, the enemy's heads will roll. And by the way, since we were facing a team with pretty low stats, we're going to run this exact same team and setup again. But the odd part is, that agent was actually rated higher than us at 2,280. That's kind of peculiar to me, but okay. Then for this final battle, we're facing a Star-Lord and Quicksilver team, and they have over 24,000 HP. But luckily our shoot first, ask questions later procs, and this causes Rocket to start his blam. Then it's going to be blam and beat it back and forth. On and on it goes. When it stops, nobody knows. But hopefully the enemy team is nearly dead by the end. And following a few more beat-its, we're going to take a tag team from Quicksilver. And now it's finally Spider-Man Noir's official turn. Now sadly the enemy team had Mystic Shroud. And by the way, the ionizing AISO on Rocket's level 1 would have placed a ton of radiation exposure if they didn't have that shroud. But Noir did use his level 9 busting heads to take down Star-Lord. And I love that move. It really does seem like an execution style beatdown. The final gunshot at point blank range just seals the deal. Now on Rocket's turn, I really do think he's probably going to die. So I should have just went out using his level 1. Instead we hit reload. And the Mandible counters us. So I did feel bad about going out like that. But at least on my agent's turn we can use the Neurotrope. Then if we wanted we could use Close the Gap. And possibly take down one of the enemies. But just to play it safe, we're going to use Blackest Void instead. That'll get rid of Mystic Shroud, quickness stacks, and all that. Then following that, Quicksilver's up next. And he's going to get hit with Shoot First, Ask Questions Later. By the way, this is going to happen quite a bit to Quicksilver because of Danger Sense. It's a passive that says preemptively counter stealthy enemy attacks. So just another reason to love Spider-Man Noir. And speaking of that, we did get to finish with a big busting heads. So there it is, I wasn't kidding, it does a ton of damage, and can definitely drop a hero. But that's going to be it for our first look at Spider-Man Noir in PvP. We'll take another look very soon. But I do want to thank you all for watching and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. Then until next time, good luck, and take care.